G'day everyone, welcome back to Pommyinoz. Thank you to everyone who has liked and subscribed. We're now finally at 500, which is absolutely awesome. That was probably well over the goal when I started this venture 6 months ago, and I'm absolutely honoured and just overawed that 500 people, over a few, have actually liked and subscribed. So that being said, if you are new around here, this is the first time, welcome. It's great to have you on board. Give it a like, give it a share on your socials. Try and get us up to road to 1,000. I can't believe I'm saying that. So that would be really much appreciated, and thank you so much. And today what we're going to do is we're going to look at Williams. We're going to look at Zac Williams and see what he brings to the table for Carlton Football Club. And for me, we're going to expect to see him play in the midfield, probably taking that third man on the ball and looking to really exploit that. That is a lot of the rumours. He's come from GWS to have midfield time. And I thought it'd be fun to use a little bit of tacticals and a little bit of analytics to see how that might make us look as a team. So first off, we're going to just look at where I think his skill set is and how that will look on the field of play. So if we take a look at this, as you can see, this is the traditional centre-bound setup. Now, what if we actually have a look at this, and we look at it just in normal ways, we're going to say that this one here, number 3, will be Zac Williams, just for the sake of an argument to keep it easy. Now, when we have the centre bounce usually, as we can see, now usually what will happen is it'll come down and say this is Patrick Cripps here, and say we win the centre contest. What we're looking to do quite early when we're under pressure, particularly these 5-6 goal swings, is we're looking to get it forward at all costs. So Cripps has booted it up there, and you know the players start to shift up here. And if you watch here, the ruckman and Radira, they go back obviously into their defensive positions. We go into our attacking positions, and we start to see that there's a little bit of a spread. And unfortunately what happens is we actually have the habit of getting caught on the back. So when you watch Teague's teams, as you can see, these players really do start to press. We are very, very determined in our forward press. And what usually looks to happen here is that the ball gets turned over and they come out and they hit us on the back. And that's because we just give the ball back. We kick it forward. We try and get forward at all costs. And if our forward pressure comes in, it's a nightmare. It really is. If our forward pressure isn't quite there, we can't get the tackles, it comes out. Now, what I wanted to look at is if we just reset them. Now, if we just reset them, we'll say for the process of this argument, number 10 is Zac Williams. And as we can see here, so we've got the centre bounce, and say that we win it, and say that here we are, we've got old Walsh, he gets the ball. What old Zac Williams looks to do is run into this area. He's quite often when he's on the ball, he looks to run through the ruck area, just that ruck contest, and look for the quick handball. And you can see that how Carlton often operate is we've got our wings, and they kind of run into these positions to create that space for the run. Now, genuinely what happens under pressure is, as we say, we just kick it and we boot it in. What Zac Williams looks for is he looks for this rotation of a handball. And if you look at someone, say, like Ed Kerno, who would be playing in, say, this rough position here, he looks to create that space by shepherding and bumping. Kennedy's done that well. And we'd see that Williams would probably look to run into this space here, created here. And if we can get this little offload off to Williams, he's got the pace to get away. And this would allow us just to have a little bit more of a bit of a control. When you run the football, if you look at good sides like Richmond and you look at West Coast, they utilise this run under pressure quite often. Not just down the back, but also in the midfield. Because when you run it, you're retaining possession. There's a lot to be said with the hands on the pill. And what Williams looks to do here is play these 1-2s, these give and goes. And for me, that is super poignant for how Carlton will play. I think when you look at what Zac Williams will bring, he will really look to try and stretch the play. And when that play starts to stretch, what you'll see is you'll see something that kind of looks like this when we start to run. And this is quite a successful thing for Carlton. You'll start to see that the forward line starts to isolate. And this is where we want to be. If you can see here, number 16, say that that's Harry Mackay. In good Carlton forward entries, we've looked to isolate our toes. You'd have like Betts here. You'd have like Zach Fisher here. They're looking to see that ball come in from, say, 60, 70 out into this grey area here. And then you've got Zac Williams will be looking to feed off should it not be marked. Eddie Betts doing the same. And that can be set up by just stretching the play. Obviously, when you kick it in at the start with the 6-6 rules, everyone is just in play. When you start to run it, that's where placement starts to fall apart. You look at Carlton, when teams have run it on us, particularly in the centre clearance, Port would be a great example. When they started to run from centre clearances, it kind of stretches the play because you're not so much focused on the man and you're focused on where he's going to. And that is where Carlton can really alleviate a bit of pressure, particularly when it starts to get firm. And that's where Zac Williams, for me, will be really important. And that's just one of the areas of his strength. Another area of strength, so we'll say we've got a stoppage just outside of 50, here we are. And we'll say for the purpose of this argument, say we've got a stoppage just outside of 50, say for the purpose of this argument, number 7 will be our Zac Williams. And you see what happens here, particularly as well with our forward 50 stoppages and our forward half stoppages, is what Carlton look to do is we do look to play it here, and usually we're looking for, we've got our half-back flank here who's really high up. That was something that Simo did quite a lot. We're looking to try and get him into the game, and we're looking to go down this part of the wing here and kick it in. Now, what would happen with Zac Williams here is if you look at how he's worked for GWS, is he hangs out the back of this pack. So you'd have this run here, and he's looking for this ruck tap to be won and got over to him. What you actually find is that Zac Williams often drifts into the centre. So the handball comes here, and what this would cause for a Carlton situation is, as you can see, the defence's area is set up on that left-hand side as we look at the screen. It starts to pull players in. And what Zac Williams can do here is he could have a little nifty handball here. He could look to lop it in here to half forward flank. And you see there's a lot of options there because he looks to run first before he kicks. He looks to play that dominated kind of handball and give and go type footy. And if you look at someone like Carlton's midfield, we don't quite often have that. Sam Walsh is probably the exception to the rule, but everyone else is looking to kick first. He's looking from this situation to get it in at all possible. And when you're under pressure and teams' defensive set, you look at Collingwood, you look at Port Adelaide, you look at West Coast, they have very good defensive sets. They're looking for you to kick it in, turn it over, and hit you on the counter. So there are two ways just individually of how Zac Williams can help with that run and carry. He looks to attack the game. Now, when we look at Zac Williams and we take him just as the midfielder, we just ignore his half-back flanks. This guy's very proficient at contested possessions, rates elite for contested possessions, just under 7. He's a real tough nut as well. He looks to get the ball off the ground with 6 ground ball gets, just under per game. And for me, one of the important things of him, and this is why we're talking about what he looks like tactically, is his ability to create score launches. He's very heavily in-scored. He's just under the elite for score involvements. He's very high in score launches. But from the midfield, his score involvements are astronomical, just over 4 a game. 5 would be the elite mark. And for me, this is what's super important. He looks to tackle hard, he looks to do the rough stuff, and he looks to give it and go. If you actually look at how he operates, he looks to have these handball feeds quite a bit. He's almost 50-50 for kick to handball ratio, just under. So he really mixes it up. He's got very good kicking efficiency. It's just below the AFL good rating. He's almost at 70%, which would get him into the good. 76% for disposal efficiency. He looks to use the game. And one of the huge things for him is his meters gained. He really looks to attack. He's a very aggressive player. And for me, if you look at Collingwood versus GWS in the finals last year, he dominated when he was on the ball. And for me, this is something that I'm super excited about. What he does is he only knows one thing, and that is attack hard. He really goes for it. He goes all out. And for me, that's going to really help us because this is one of the ways that we alleviate these 6-goal swings. It's being able to have that ability to run, ability to hold on to the ball a bit longer. If you look at Carlton, our kicking goes through the roof when we're under pressure. We look to kick and gain meters and try and alleviate the pressure. But the problem with that is the modern day football game is all around turnovers. All the good sides score from turnovers. It's why we've improved because our ability to score from turnovers is so high. So what Zac Williams does is allows you to keep the possession a little bit. He'll think a bit outside the box. He's not so much of a kick-first footballer. He's looking to play these 1-2s and play people in. And when we've got players like Sam Walsh, who are probably one of the most elite kicks from that inside 50 spot, who are really good at using and making something happen just on the edge of 50, combine that with Jack Martin, Zac Williams is going to be an absolute integral part. And if Carlton are going to break into the top 8, this guy is the kind of player that you want in the middle of the park doing it, because he is a magic maker. He's very talented, he's very efficient, and he looks to attack. That's Zac Williams. Please let me know in the comments, what are you looking forward to? Do you think I've missed something? Is there something that you're looking forward to? We kind of know that Zac Williams is going to be utilised as a midfielder. How do you feel? Are you confident of that? Let me know. Let's have a discussion. As always, Pom out.